We're going to be performing barbell back squat. So initial position, we have a high bar squat. What we want to do is we want to depress the shoulder blades and bring the elbows right under the bar to make sure that you're strong in your mid back. Then the next thing, we want to engage the core. We're going to squeeze the glutes. We want to soften the knees and want to grab the ground with your toes. We want to make sure that your feet are about shoulder width apart or maybe even slightly wider depending on your mobility. And then you want to open up your feet about 15 degrees to make it easier for you to sit down into a deep squat. As you're going down, open up the knees and make sure that your knees are tracking over your toes. As she's performing the squat, I want you to pay attention at the angle of her torso in relationship to her thigh. Her glutes are going more back, and that will load her hips way more. At the bottom position, she opens up her knees to make sure they align with her toes. She pulls her shoulder blades back. Her hips are sticking out back, which loads the hamstrings and the glutes while also working on the mid back. Before you stand up, you really need to engage your core. And when you're standing up, you want to make sure that your shoulders and the hips travel at the same time. So as she goes down, the shoulders and the hips travel down at the same time. The core is engaged, and on the way up, shoulders and the hips travel at the same time. The typical mistake people make, they lift the hips up first and then they follow with the shoulders. I call it a stripper squat, and you wanted to avoid it by engaging the core at all times, especially at the bottom. So what you're going to do, you're going to squeeze your core as much as you can, drive your feet into the ground, and focus on your shoulders coming up first. Remember that you want to make sure that your core is always engaged, and whenever you're going up and down, your shoulders always have to come up at the same rate as your hips. Otherwise, you're going to be performing stripper squats, and that's not something we want to do. I hope that helps.
Stay fit.